Rid of that. Good evening, folks. Good evening, one and all. Let me change my. I'm still changing stuff from the last show, so forgive me, folks. My background is actually not supposed to be. It's supposed to be this. Crazy, crazy, absolutely crazy. There's and say hello to our buddy Al here.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, one and
Live
all.
long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, one and all. Let's see.
Great for everyone to be here.
And yep, and let's see. Let's do one of these. That's better. That's much better. So yeah, if you'll notice, I do have folks. Just so you know, I do have another special guest here with us tonight. But let me wait till I get more than one person in to show off my special guest. Yeah. Because we only have basically one person in the audience at the moment.
Maybe I should sit there like this myself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Go for it.
But I'm afraid I can't hold that position for too long.
No worries. All right, so let's see. I am yes, that's what I was doing. I was changing my name. Give me a second. Display names. Everything is a task.
It sure is, ain't it?
Everything's trying to you go from one platform to another and you got to figure things out. Okay, hang on a second. Cam, is it on the cam mic side? General, here we go. General, no camera, audio, green screen guests. Okay, it's none of these.
Welcome to the 80s retro.
Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay,
Episode 3.
Retro Master. Yeah, we'll just call me Retro Master for now.
Welcome to the 80s Retro Podcast, Episode 3.
Yes, welcome one and all to the 80s Podcast. Episode
welcome
3.
To the 80s Retro Podcast.
Oh, somebody's got their echo going. That would be you.
Pro streamer all the way.
There you go. Okay, welcome. Hey, good to see you, Paul. Good to see you, Bruce. Good to see you, Mako.
Hi, guys.
And so, let's go ahead and start chatting with the gang already. First of all, I'd like to introduce our special guest, which is Mr. Bernie with the mittens. I couldn't help myself. I had to have a little fun there and stuff. Let me go back to my camera because I'm not a. Hang on a second. I hate this. Let me see if I can figure out how to. No. The only way to get me white with this green screen is to adjust the color. So it is what it is. So we'll have a nice red show today. So for those of you listening in audio podcast land, I've been fiddling around here with the video because it's I just started using this green screen for the first time. I got a photo of Bernie Sanders in the sorting hat meme from Harry Potter, and so I'm a little red. Having nothing to do with Bernie. Well, I guess it does a little. But my face is red today because the background is green, so there's nothing I can do. But that's the camera. I'll have to worry about that another day. But in the meantime, let me swap over the green screen to something a little more palatable, which is some nice little background there. Whatever. Nice house.
It looks like you're in your living room.
Yep. It's not my living room, but it'll work.
Somebody's living.
Yeah, somebody's living room is back there. I don't know where I got that photo from, but anyways, so let's move on with our glorious podcast. Okay, so tonight's topic, folks, for all you listening out there, is stores. And when I say stores, I'm talking about 70s and 80s stores.
Brought to you by two guys in their 50s and 60s, talking about the 70s and 80s.
Yep. Basically, a bunch of stores that are just, I mean, stores you grew up with that are no longer around. For instance, and the first one that comes to mind, I gotta say, is Blockbuster. So you got your Blockbuster card there, Al? There you go. There you go.
I have my Blockbuster card here. This is my card right there.
Yeah, you don't have to show your address either. So
actually, that's an old address.
And in that case, show it away.
And actually, that's the store number.
That's the store.
The address of the store and the
phone number of the store. Yeah.
Not even
better. That's right. Card issue that.
That's an authentic Blockbuster.
Yep. Real life Blockbuster card. I love it.
I hold this close to my heart.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, oh man, for those of you, I mean, obviously most of you out there are listeners are our age, and Blockbuster was just an incredible experience back in the day. I mean, kids today, and we're probably going to say that on every show, kids today will never experience anything like what we did, because it was just kids today. My daughters grew up with, if they want to watch a movie, by all means, watch a movie. Whatever you want to watch, doesn't matter. You just download it. You just watch it on TV. It's always available. Every movie you ever wanted to see is available, whether at a price or whether on Netflix or Prime Video or Hulu, which is also comes with a price, but or for free if you have your resources or friends or whatever. But bottom line is, just about everything's available. And West Coast Video, that's right, was on the West Side.
Yep.
There were a few of them, and you know what? Oddly enough, there's still some Redbox. Redbox, is it? What's this? The one you drop in your credit card or your money, and they give you a DVD, and and then they also had a Netflix. When Netflix first started doing that's what killed Blockbusters, when Netflix started doing the DVD by mail.
Right.
But Blockbuster was a fantastic way. I mean, I still remember I had a Blockbuster. I was going to say right here, but I don't live in my parents' house anymore. My parents still live there. They've been living there, it's going on 60 years. But we had a Blockbuster right about a mile away from the house at the nearest shopping center. And it was great. I would drive up there. It just so happened to have started about the time I was probably 16, 17. So I started driving, and it popped up. It was the most wonderful thing in the world to have it was basically a library card for movies is what it was. And it was fantastic. And since I never grew up my wife is a very savvy person, and my kids grew up with, aside from all the technology of today, my wife has instilled in them, whenever they read a lot and they go to the library and they take out a book, but you can also take out cassettes. You can also nowadays take out DVDs. You order them, they come to your library, and you just pick them up, and it's as simple as that. Just about anything, any audiobook, any cassette is available given the amount of time to borrow from our wonderful, thank you, Benjamin Franklin Library.
Right.
And but I never knew about that. Well, I don't even know if they had that back then. Videos. I know. A rental of tapes, but they didn't have videos. They had tapes. But the tapes. Oh, I could remember. I remember when Blockbuster first started, they had a whole beta section. They had a whole beta videos section. And then they had VHS, beta, and for a while they had both VHS and DVD. But they had, let's see, I'm trying to recall the actual, because they had all the different sections like you would in a record store. And I'll get to the record stores a little bit later.
Horror, mystery, adventure, comedy. Yes.
Yep, and I was always stuck in the comedy section. I mean, I would be 24 comedy and sci-fi, but mostly comedy because all the sci-fi stuff I recorded off the TV. So yeah, that was fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and then getting to movies. I mean, getting switching gears to music. We had I don't know what out there in Chatland, which record companies did you have? We had Specs. Later, Virgin Records was around, but mostly it was Specs in our area. Specs was the big record store. I mean, there were all sorts of records, but Specs was a chain of 3 record stores in Miami, and it was fantastic. This is before Barnes and Noble and all those had their records. I remember when Barnes and Noble and all these records, all these bookstores used to carry a record section.
Yes, yes. We have a store called Endless Horizons that's been kind of a fixture of Odessa for years, and they still have records. In fact, there's kind of a coming back to records. There's a small movement out there where people are going back to vinyl, the retro thing.
Incredible. How many of you guys all remember Woolworths? Woolworths and 5 and dime stores.
F.W. Woolworth.
F.W. Woolworth. Peaches. There you go. Dan brought up a good one. Welcome, Dan. And let's see. Welcome, Jeffrey. I didn't say hello to you. Zoom squeak. That's Dan. And Dan brought up a good one. Peaches records and tapes. There was Peaches. There was Specs. There was and this is, and we're talking 70s and 80s. So this is just before the Barnes and Noble and B. Dalton and all the bookstores came in, because they each, after a while, they got smart. As record stores were beginning to fade out, they started carrying DVDs and records, and Best Buy did too. But this is pre-Best Buy. This is pre Barnes and Noble. I mean, we're talking. This is again 70s, folks. This is our youth growing up, and it was just fantastic. I mean, it was a great experience to go out, social interaction. I mean, again, I say this on every store. There are pros and cons to the future and to the past. I mean, I think back to Woolworths and the feeling I got going into a store and seeing something new for the first. Here, I'll share with you something that happened today, and instantly I bought it. I had to buy it. So it's kind of a similar feeling, but not exactly. I'm going to relate Amazon to one of my favorite stores from the 70s and 80s, which some are still around today, Radio Shack. In Radio Shack, when they came out with a new computer or a new model or a new stereo system or something, being an electronics nut, it was like the smell of the store, the smell of the catalogs when they came out in August. That experience, I can't begin to relate that experience to people that have never experienced that have never gone through that.
Sadly, they won't ever experience either, because the way technology has turned out.
The closest I come to it nowadays is when I see something, and this happened to me just today on Amazon. Today on Amazon, I was looking around because, look, I'm on my way this next week to next week. I'll probably be broadcasting via phone from the trailer because I'll be up at the property. And now I went on Amazon because I have a chainsaw. I have a gas powered and I have a battery powered, and I'm going to be cutting a bunch of bamboo. Now, the chainsaw, the battery powered chainsaw, the gas one is annoying. It's loud. It's overkill for those bamboo pieces. But the battery one is perfect, but it's 18 inches. It's a 40-volt battery. It's pretty heavy. So I go, well, let me see if they got anything. Every time I come up with an idea in my head, I go, this has got to be new. This has got to be innovative. But nowadays, I think my thinking is somebody has had to have thought this out. So I typed in mini chainsaw. Sure enough, they have 4-inch battery-powered chainsaws.
Wow.
For $60.
Wow.
I ended up spending double that because I got 3 batteries, I got 4 chains, I've got and I went with a better quality. They're all you look at them all and they got a bunch of different names, all Chinese or Korean. All different manufacturers' names, many of which you can't pronounce, but they all have the same form factor. It's like they're all made in the same ultimate. The parts are made in the same factory, and they just assemble them in different places and stamp their name on them. Like as is our world today. Well, the feeling of seeing something like that's the closest I've ever come to the old feeling of the Radio Shack stores. So I went, I can't wait till I get it, and I can't wait till it comes in the mail. But there is nothing, I tell you, like seeing I remember when Laserdiscs came out, and I saved up money and I bought a Laserdisc player. I still have my Laserdisc player. It's in my warehouse, but I still have it. It's with a bunch of Laserdiscs too. Well, it was the most fascinating thing, and that one I bought at another store now defunct. I don't know if you guys have had Circuit Cities in your neighborhood.
In my area, there was a Circuit City, yes.
There was a Circuit City. So Circuit City was another one. How about Service Merchandise?
Oh, yeah, certainly.
There you go. You didn't have Luria's. I think Luria's was local. You didn't have L Luria's and Sons. We had 3 or 4 of them here, but I believe it was a local thing. They still have, but I remember it a lot more fondly from my youth. They still have around here, and I found out this is a local thing. It's not all around the country. Farm stores. You guys have farm stores in Texas or not?
Let me talk about farm store.
Go right ahead.
When I was a young boy, and I immigrated from the great country of Cuba, we moved to Miami, and Hialeah. Okay, you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
To me, that was but for a young kid coming to a nation, I mean, we had rationed milk and rationed everything. Coming to a nation where I could walk up to a little building and get a gallon of milk and maybe some eggs or something. Yeah, it just brings back such memories when you say farm store. It makes me.
Same here. My mom, I love her to death. She's still with us, and one of the many fond memories I have of my mom is before I was driving. Every time I got a hankering for ice cream, and there wasn't ice cream in the house, I go, "Mom, can we go to farm stores? Mom, can we go to farm stores?"
Yeah.
And my mom, now more than ever, she's a very homebody, and she doesn't like going out of the house and stuff. And many of us have become that way in today's society. It's like, I want to go all the way to the store to pick something up. It's not my weekly time to go to the grocery store. I'm not. But and that's it. If it wasn't her weekly time to go to the actual grocery store, but that farm stores, which was only 5 or 6 blocks away from the house,
right.
It was fantastic. I would accompany my mom. She loved the company, and my brother would come with us, and we'd go over to the farm stores, and we'd get vanilla. They had the 1 gallon of vanilla, and everything else was half gallons. But the vanilla came in a gallon, and it was the best vanillas. It was Borden, and it was the best vanilla ice cream. Well, it was, I had never tasted Breyers when I was a kid, and I don't know if it was around. It was a different taste, and it was fantastic. And either I got that one or the chocolate chip from Borden. It's phenomenal. It's or the Neapolitan. I love the Neapolitan. And the Neapolitans of old, if you remember, speaking of the 70s and 80s, the Neapolitans of old, the stripes were the long ways. They weren't the short way like they are now. Now you got you know you got your the you got
yeah, a horizontal, a longer package horizontally.
Basically, they are short little rectangles cut into a third. But before they went the long way, so they were long, thin rectangles. The old Neapolitan ice cream, strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate.
Hey, Zoom says the farm store you're talking about was on the west side of Galloway, just south of Main Street.
That's exactly where it was.
What really impressed me about the farm store that was, and I can't remember where mine was at, but it looked like it had an open door on it instead of just a door, like a garage door that you could walk right in.
They're all made the same. They were all made the same. And I'll give you a little history, not a little history, but a little bit of information on farm stores, because it just so happens that my painting company was contracted to paint a number of farm stores.
What luck?
So it was, I mean, well, we're talking less than 10 years ago. So this is not the old farm stores, but these are the same exact farm stores that have been around since before I was a kid. Basically, I mean, the roof is somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 feet high. And it's basically the red border stripe along the building, and on both sides, because almost everyone has two drive-throughs, one on each side.
Yeah.
And basically, it's a store in the middle with a freezer on one side. You've got 3 huge glass panels, and then the fourth one is a 6-foot glass, or actually an 8-foot 4x4 glass sliding door. Well, 3x6. 3x6, 3x6, 6x6, a standard glass sliding door, regular glass sliding door, old-fashioned glass sliding door. Many of those, if the glass hasn't been broken, they're probably not safety glass. They'll shatter and they'll hurt you. But
ouch.
That's how it is on both sides. And what they would do is they would lock they would most of them were open 24 hours. But the ones that weren't, the ones that closed at, say, 11 o'clock, they would lock the doors with obviously sealing in they bring in their rack of bread, because all the Wonder Bread and the Borden bread and all that stuff was in a rack with wheels on it. They would roll it outside, and so, I mean, basically back then it wasn't that much of a convenience store. It was bread, it was milk, it was butter, all types of eggs, of course, some dairy and ice cream. I mean, there was cigarettes. Cigarettes was big back then. There wasn't much. Oh, and donuts. They had the powdered donuts and the cookie, from what's that green and white? It's the packaged ones. Trying to remember the donuts brand now. They still sell them. It's not the it's not Krispy Kreme, but it's the other. It's one of these processed brands. But anyway, those are some great stores. And Dan just reminded me of the Grand Union. Now here's the thing: there was a Grand Union also, Dan, on. There was a Grand Union on Westchester Shopping Center on Coral Way and 87th Avenue. Prior to being a Grand Union, it was a Pantry Pride. Nope, my mistake. Pantry Pride was after the Grand Union. Prior becoming a Grand Union, it was a food fair. That's what it was called. It was called the Food Fair. I grew up in the 60s with Food Fair as our main grocery store and stuff. Here's another blast from the past. Lionel Playworld. Did you guys have any Lionel Playworlds? This is pre-Toys R Us.
It sounds really familiar. But
well, Lionel Playworld made Lionel trains.
Yeah, no then.
Yeah, Lionel Playworld had, whereas this guy had Jeffrey. Lionel Playworld had, I forgot what it was. Whether it was their mascot and stuff, but yeah. So I mean, obviously, I remember Woolworth. Woolworth was Woolworth. Did you have Woolworths? How about
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
Marshall Fields? How about Marshall
Yes.
Fields?
Marshall
That's
Fields.
more for
And
Mervin's. Do you remember the Mervin's commercials?
still have Mervyn's. And by the way, it was
You
a
still have
little
Mervin's?
kangaroo. It was a little kangaroo.
Yes. Yes.
Kaylee
Yes.
kangaroo, I think.
Yes, it was a kangaroo. That's right. Lionel Playworld had a kangaroo. That's right. And Mervyn, I still to this day remember that lady vivid in my mind with that commercial going open, 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 open. I can never forget that. Oh, Paul Stewart, KB Toys. Yeah, just about every mall had a KB Toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mervin's was great and stuff. We didn't have Gimbal Brothers, but I know you guys had Gimbal Brothers in different in like New York and different parts of the thing.
It was in the movie. Wasn't Gimbals featured in the movie? What, 34th Street or something like that?
Yeah, Miracle on 34th Street or something like that. And Dan was talking earlier about in the chat about he brought up Burdines. I don't know how popular Burdines was in your area, but we had a lot of Burdines
in Chicago.
Huh?
Also.
Oh, you had one in Chicago because they all got bought out. They got bought out by Macy's, and they got all taken over by Macy's. Kitty City, Montgomery Ward.
Oh yeah,
remember Montgomery Ward?
We still have. No, wait. I'm sorry. I take that back. It's now a Target. There's a Target where the Montgomery Ward used to be. Yes.
How about this? How about? Hang on a second. How about this one? This one's gonna. There's two shoe stores that I used to go to. One of them was
Tom McCann.
Tom McCann. There you go. Tom McCann. Kinney. You got it. You got it. You got both of them. Kinney and Tom McCann. I had to go to the Tom McCann shoe store because I had flat feet and I had to get a medium arch cookie. And every time it's my mom would say it so fast, I never understood what it was. And one time I went in, the first time I went to the shoe store, he goes, "Yeah, but the doctor said I had to have a media mark cookie." I thought it was a media mark cookie, and it's a medium arch cookie. So oh man. Oh look, Dan says he's still eating on plates he bought at Zayre's.
Yes.
On Coral Way.
Yes.
Fun fact about Zayre's. I don't know if you guys in the rest of the country had Zayre's, but or as we Cubans call them, Side.
Chicago had Side.
So Zayre's, the Zayre's on 87th and Coral Way. The grand opening was on my birth date, which I won't share because privacy concern.
When you were born,
I was born.
Really?
The day I was born, same day they had a grand opening.
And you remember that?
No, no. I had a project in it was English 1101 library studies. This is when FIU, believe it or not, we had library studies as English 1101s. So we had to, not only do we had to learn the Dewey Decimal System, which we already knew, but we had to learn how to research. It was basically all about learning how to research, and make miniature beginner essays and stuff, which I had grammar down pat and I've already. So we had to, our task was to go to the library and look up in microfiche form our newspapers from the day we were born. So I looked it up, and one of the things was it was Ingrid Bergman's 50th birthday. Ingrid Bergman turned 50, and And that turned out to be wrong because I've looked since, and even though it said it in I think it was in the Miami Herald on that day, it wasn't true because she had a different birthday than mine. It's just funny, but yeah, that was. I mean, sure, Kinney shoes and Tom McCann. I'll never forget those.
I've got a story about the Tom McCanns.
Yeah, go.
I was stationed at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock, and I needed to go get some shoes, some regular normal shoes. Not tennis shoes like we wear today, because today we wear all sorts of tennis shoes and stuff, even for more formal occasions. Although I do wear shoes, but anyway, so went to go search for shoes. Tom McCann was where I was going to go. I ended up at J.C. Penney of all places. Right, there's another store.
Right? Yep, there you go, J.C. Penney.
And I was sitting there looking around, and I was up in the electronics department because I sometimes gravitate to the upstairs where the electronics was. And there's this computer up there, and it was the TI, and I know I've mentioned this before.
TI-994.
The TI-99, and I bought my first computer at like 1980-ish, give or take. So it was the most expensive pair of shoes I've ever bought.
Oh my God, that's the same exact. You are to almost to the. Okay, I shall. I'm not one-upping you. I'm matching you. Burdines. I wanted an Apple II originally. I wanted an Apple II. No. I wanted a TRS-80. That was what I wanted for Christmas. My mom was going to buy me a computer. I wanted the TRS-80. Then a friend. Then my mom said, "Hey, come here and look at Burdines." Now, in Burdines, the third floor of Burdines, there was an electronics department. And I went over there and I saw the most impressive thing, the TI-994, not the TI-994A.
Right.
It was the TI-994, the one with the chiclet keys that cost $1,200.
Yeah.
That's the one that we bought. We owned it for a month. I had programmed a few fantastic using the vector art, a few, and then a friend said, "You should have gotten an Apple II." And when he showed me what the Apple II could do, it could run circles around it, and it was all these different expansion boards that I could do anything with it.
Yeah.
Right away, we returned it and we bought an Apple II at the Apple computer store in 84, 86. But it was, I mean, there was only two of them, two Apple stores in Miami, and they were very tiny. I still remember the Jim and Dan. Oh, I still remember who I bought it from. It was talk about memories. But the card, Jeffrey Stewart's asking if we use the card catalog. Yes, back then we used the card catalog. That was the only way. We go to the card catalog, and the card catalog would say what microfiche number was on. Then we'd have to go to a separate room that had all the the little viewers and stuff. Those were good times. But yeah, it's so funny you brought that up with J.C. Penney, because I did the same thing in Burdines.
Tom McCann's and J.C. Penney's.
And yeah. And that's exactly where I got my Tom McCann's and J.C. Penney in Dadeland. And here's the thing. Every time I think of J.C. Penney, just because it began with a J, I thought of course, Jackson Byron's.
Yes, Jackson Byron's is also
Jackson Byron's was in the mall. We had 3 malls in Westchester. 3 you could I guess you could call them strip malls, but they're like L-shaped. So yeah, I guess it's a strip mall. It's like they have them in most places. But it was absolutely interesting because we had, and I still remember most of I could probably rattle you off every single store in order from my youth, because I rode bike there over and over and over. Down the mall, down each one of the 3 malls. One was, we called it the Zares Mall. There was a Mr. Donut, an IHOP, and a Shell in the in the middle section, and then the strip mall had the Zayres. It has a Pose rental, and then it had a whole bunch of other shops on the other strip, including a barber shop and all this other stuff. But I never went to that mall. There was the mall I went to, which was closest to my house. The other two, see, I had to cross either Galloway, which was a busy road, or Coral Way, which was another busy road. So to get to the Westchester Mall, Westchester Shopping Center. See, there was 3 malls. One of them, we called it the Zayre Mall, but didn't have a name. The other one was the Westchester Shopping Center, and the other one was the Westchester Mall. The Westchester Mall was unreachable by bike. It had a Kmart. It had a Kmart Foods. That was one whole side. And then and it had office buildings. It had a pet shop inside. It had, I can go on and on and on. And the Jackson Byron's was there. That was the end of the mall.
Did you know that Jackson Byron's was started in 1896? And unfortunately, it's defunct, but it defunct 100 years later in 1996.
That's incredible.
I
remember when it went. I remember when it went from Jackson Byron's to J Byron's, and I hated it because I hated change. And then all the commercials. Hey, you dropped the J when it went to Byron's. That's all I can remember from those commercials is either a little kid or a woman saying, "Hey, you dropped the J." But
it was originally a pharmacy too when it first started.
It was originally a great store because my mom went there to get clothes. I hated going shopping for clothes, but my brother and I, my mom, the responsible parent that she was, she said, "Look, just don't leave the store." And we had the run of the store, whatever it was. We'd go to the book section. We'd go to the office supply section. We were office supply nerds, whatever. And then we'd go to there was a little electronics section. There were all types of stuff. And we would just sit there and read books and sit there and do stuff and play games and stuff. And then we go back years later. I went looking for some stationery or something or other, and I went back. This is when it was J Byron's. And I go, what the heck happened to this store? It's nothing but clothes, and it's women's clothes. There used to be men's clothes in here. No more. It's all gone. That's another thing. There used to be both men's and women's clothes. In my teenage years, my mom said, buy whatever you need. I got a little spoiled. And me, I wanted to look good for the girls. So I would look and see a mannequin, and I go, that mannequin looks fantastic. So whatever he was wearing, those are the clothes that I'd grab. I'd grab that, not off the mannequin, but I'd grab that set of pants, that belt, that shirt, and if they were wearing headgear, the same thing. I mean, whatever they were wearing. And let me tell you, I always got compliments because it was always something at Birdine's or at JCPenney's or at what was the other one, or at Jackson Byron's, that, whatever it was, I mean, these people knew what was in fad, and I didn't. I was a nerd. I wore all these things from the mannequin, and I'd look fantastic, except for one slight thing. I wore cowboy boots. A Cuban in Miami with cowboy boots. Because I am short, and I wanted to be
cowboy.
It's not for anything. For a while, I just liked wearing cowboy boots. I had 3 or 4 sets of cowboy boots. It was really cool. It was fun.
I even in Texas, I haven't ever been able to. I've had 1 pair of cowboy boots, and that's it. And I haven't ever been able to wear cowboy boots.
How's this one? I got one for you. Photomat.
Oh yeah.
Remember the photomats?
That was kind of along the same line, kind of in a sense, as the farm store. A little bitty building out in the middle of the parking lot.
Dunkin' Donuts were that way originally. Many are still now, but right now there's a mixture. Dunkin' Donuts are now either part of a mall or part of a lot of them are part of service plazas or part of a strip mall. But back then, every single Dunkin' Donut store in Miami was independent and its own little shop, an own little store, and small ones too. But yeah, no, those are photo mats were fantastic. You know, oh god, there's and of course, I mean, I can go on and on and on about Radio Shack. I loved Radio Shack. You know, and let me tell you, Dalton well, Dalton's no more, and neither is Borders. They both got eaten up by Barnes and Noble. I think, yeah, I know Borders closed.
I haven't seen them in a long time. In fact, I haven't seen any of them actually. I'm trying to think when the last time I saw any bookstore.
Yep. Dan says Grand Prix Racerama. Yeah, that was we had fun. Let me tell you, drive-ins and go-kart tracks. I know they probably still exist in the world today, but they were everywhere. And bowling alleys. They were everywhere here in Miami. We had let me see. We had bowling alleys. So we had Trail Bowl, Bird Bowl, Cloverleaf Lanes, Don Carter's, Don Carter's, Pace. No, not what was the name of that other one? There was another one. There was one other I'm forgetting, but those were the skating rinks. We had
that was something.
We had 3 skating rinks, 4 skating rinks. We still have one now. No, yeah, Hot Wheels. We have. It's they revived it. They built a new skating rink, and my kids used to go as well. My kids are teenagers. They used to go a couple years ago. My eldest to Hot Wheels. They still go. There's still skating rinks out there, but
we have an ice rink in the mall still, which is pretty neat. Yep. And I think we have one skating rink out west of town, and that's it as far as I know. There may be a second one down in town, but
Dan's talking about Brand Smarts, but they're still around. So they can't be on this list because they are still active. We still have Brand Smarts everywhere. At least here. I don't know about you guys. Photo Magic I've never had in this area. At least I don't remember it. Maybe that's something you remember. But how about Comp USA?
Well, yes, certainly.
Yeah,
geeks would definitely know those. That's for sure. Yeah.
And do you remember the Discovery Channel store?
No, I do not. For
a while there, but this is more 90s. For a while there, they had the Discovery Channel store. Let me see. Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah, we still have, well, we don't have a Spencer's. It morphed into something else. The same line.
Yeah,
same things.
It's now called. Oh my God, my mind went through a blank. But yeah, I know what you're talking. It's now called. I don't remember the name of it now. But yeah, we have one left in one of the malls. Oh, H.H. Gregg came and went in our area here. And Dan mentioned KB Toys recently.
Yeah, KB, we used to have a KB, yes.
Linens and Things, they went out of business, and they came out in 75. Do you remember all the Sharper Image stores?
I remember the magazine.
Oh, we had 2 Sharper Images stores
on the airplane,
and Brooks Brothers, and it was just like, I can't say I'm surprised that they went, because honestly, I would walk. Look, I was spoiled.
Puppies.
My parents would buy me anything I wanted, yet I would walk into a Sharper Image store and I go, wow, this is awesome. This is great. I'd love to have one. This is so ridiculously expensive. I'm not buying it from here. Even I, that had practically, an unlimited bank account, would not buy stuff from Sharper Image or Brooks Brothers because it was so blatantly overpriced.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, come on, the rich don't stay rich by or the well-off don't stay well-off by throwing away all their money. Hey, Mervin. Hey, Florsheim shoes. There's another. store we were
Yes,
talking.
the third shoe store that I never bought any shoes from.
Yep. Yep.
Those
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
though.
It
Those
was
were good
Kinney's,
shoes.
it was Tom McCann, and then the
Yeah,
Florsheim.
yeah,
Yeah, that was my mom. My mom, all my youth, it was Tom McCann,
yep.
and a couple of Kinney's. But then when I grew up, my mom would say, "Oh no, we have to go to Florsheim," and and I go, "Okay, mom, whatever you say, I don't care." Just
By the way, Spencer's is still in business.
Spencer's is still in business, huh?
Yes, yes, it still is in business, at least from what I'm
Is Sports Authority still around? Because I know they closed just recently, but I remember. I mean, Sports Authority was around for a while. Tower Records was another one. We were talking about Peaches. We were talking about Specs. Tower Records was another record store that was just incredible. Yeah, and let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any. Wet Seal and Zany Brainy, B. Dalton. We talked about Tivana. I'm looking at different ones. Hess gas stations. They are no more.
right.
Yeah, they were bought by Marathon, and I got to tell you, you know, I don't know about you, but I think when I think Marathon, I think cheap gas. You're running the risk of messing up your engine, kind of gas. That level of gas, But at the same time, And do you remember? You'll love it at Levitt's.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Good
Levitts.
old
That's
Levitt's. Yep. Poppy says county seat. Yeah. There's another one. Um, Sports Chalet, Horn and Hard Art. I don't know any of those two.
Levitts was a really cool furniture store, but it left in 2008, so it was still in business in the 80s.
One that we had, which was fantastic, was this was during the 80s. Do you remember Incredible Universe?
No,
You never had one.
no.
We had the store pop up in the 80s, and it was like the brighter the bulb, the quicker it burns kind of thing.
Mhm.
Incredible Universe was always packed. They would put on shows, circus shows in the middle. It was electronics. It was like a Best Buy on steroids.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was like wholesale prices.
185,000 square feet of floor space.
It was huge. It was incredible, and it was all electronics. And they had a McDonald's inside. So it was just fantastic.
You know, the former CEO of Tandy, John Roach,
Yeah.
came up with it.
Yep.
He was
And let me tell
considered
you, it was fantastic, and then it was gone as almost as fast as it came. It was sad to say.
What were they thinking?
I'm telling you. Well, I mean, they did a great job. Let me tell you, they did a great job. But sad to say. Let me see. Let me see if I Google a few more stores. 70s, 80s stores. And
The Ground Round.
never saw that one.
Jordan Marsh.
Jordan Marsh. There's
Yeah.
one. That's the one I was trying to think of. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Jordan Marsh. Yep, there's another one.
By the
That
way,
was see, we had a Jordan Marsh on one side, Burdines in the middle, and J.C. Penney. Later, the Jordan Marsh became a Macy's,
oh,
and the Burdines became a Macy's. They had two Macy's, but one was like Macy's Women's or something, and the other one was Macy's, and then the J.C. Penney is still there today.
I've got one that has to be mentioned. I mean, it has to be mentioned because it's such a staple in the Americana of America. Is that right? And that's
yeah,
Howard Johnson's.
Howard Hojo's. Oh man, yes, yes. Howard Johnson's.
We couldn't let this show go without that. Now I don't know when it ended or when it didn't, but that's one that at least has
it just vanished into the woodwork. There are still Pep Boys around, aren't there? Yeah.
Actually, yeah. In Midland, there's one. Yes.
Yeah, I believe there are. Let me see. Yes. Learners, Newberry.
We lost Whites. There's no more Whites here. At least here, anyway.
Right. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's like a Pep Boys.
Ah, gotcha. Oh, we had Western Auto. Is ours?
Do we still have Western Auto? I think we do.
Oh, so you had a Western Auto. I mean, you have a Western. Yeah, we had. Let me go real quickly through my mind. Okay, so we had Kelly Tires was on the corner.
Yes, the green logo. Yeah,
the green logo, Kelly Tires. Then we had a local. Oh, I can never forget this. This one is as oh, Dan mentioned Sound Advice. That was a good one. Then the next store that we had next to the Tire Kingdom, I mean next to Kelly Tires was Lum's. Lum's was just I still my mouth to this day still waters because of their hot dogs, and I wish I had a Lum's hot dog.
For some reason, I think I ate at a Lum's here like a couple of years ago.
Oh, I got to check and see if there's still Lum's around here. I have to because they all but went away around here. Then came Harper's Hardware. Now that was just a guy called Harper, and it was a local family-owned hardware store. China Star Restaurant. It's not a chain. It's one of those. It's a Chinese restaurant. We had Ballet Shop, which coincidentally was owned by the parents of one of my classmates, and now it is run by my classmate, my girl I had a crush on in third grade, Maria. And she left in third grade. She left in third grade, but she was friends with all of us. She still is friends, with all of us. We got together for a reunion. Actually, no, she was invited to the sorry, I got to digress because this is really impactful. She was invited to our dance, to our 8th grade dance, and I was at the time I was very shy. First time I ever danced with a girl was, all the guys, go ahead, ask her, go ahead. I had everybody backing me up. So I had all the courage in the world, and I asked her to dance, and she danced with me, and I was fantastic. And then after that time, I asked her 2 or 3 more times. I must have asked every girl in that 8th grade to dance. I would not stop asking girls, but I never learned how to dance fast until like 2 or 3 dances later, which is kind of stupid because fast dancing is just disco. I mean, back and forth. This is 79 we're talking about. 70, 78. Well, anyway, so what happens years later, we're at a 30-year reunion from our class of 79, 8th grade and stuff, and we invited her to join us because she's friends of a lot of us and stuff, and it was fantastic seeing everybody again and stuff. Just brought back a lot of fond memories. I mean, I've long since not held a torch for her, but you never forget your first love, puppy love or not. You never forget it. At least I don't. I didn't anyway. But you were saying, oh yeah, I was following along here. China Star Dentist.
Yeah, there's 2 that are mentioned, Javi. Lafayette Radio is one. That went bankrupt in 81. Yeah, that one's one. I hadn't heard that one, but here's one. Burger Chef. Now it ended in 96. Yeah. But who was the successor to Burger Chef?
I don't know.
When I say it, you'll.
Could it be Burger King?
No. Hardee's of
all places. Wow.
Yeah, Burger Chef turned into Hardee's.
Mervin just brought up Farrell's Restaurant. Oh, I had my 10th my 10-year-old birthday party at Farrell's restaurant. Now, Farrell's, we had a Farrell's restaurant in Hialeah, was the only one. It was in the Westland Mall. It was like a barber pole, old-timey barbershop quartet type restaurant. And when you had a birthday there was 4 guys in a barbershop quartet that would sing you happy birthday in full a cappella and stuff.
That's nice.
And we could buy kazoos and we could buy all types of stuff like that. I was in heaven. 10 years old, just in heaven. The whole restaurant singing, and these guys, just jamming the a cappella. Farrell's was an amazing experience. Amazing experience. Yep, we brought up Kinney's and Mervin's already. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I think there was a Lafayette up around one east of Westland. Yeah, it was. And later that Lafayette, Dan, became another Radio Shack because there were 2 Radio Shacks on 103rd Street. And yep, that was it. What about, let's see. I just saw one a second ago. Oh, how about this? Speaking of stores, iconic stores, S&H green stamps.
Oh yeah. Oh man, all the stamps that they would give you. But you're talking about the store.
I'm talking about the store.
Yeah.
We had an S&H green stamp store because you could order in the catalog and you'd send out and they'd send you back stuff. But if you went to the S&H green stamp store with your books and books and books, oh, the stuff we used to get, it's, now you think it's a different world now. There's no desire. There's no desire for stuff. Okay. If you don't have money, there's obviously a desire for stuff, Oh, I want a Cybertruck. I don't have, $60,000, or I want a Lexus or whatever. If you don't have the money to afford something, there is that. But there's always been that. But back then, it was the stuff just wasn't available, and when it was available, it was expensive. There was a lot less. Now, it seems that everything that anybody can think of, somebody will come up with, build it yourself. And because we now have the manufacturing tools to build everything ourselves, most of it. And I mean, let's say you want to get a CNC'd sign. I could build my own CNC and have. I can create my own CNC sign and have. And I can do it all day long. Whereas before, the only option available to 99% of the population is go to a fair or to a woodcraft shop or to a sign shop, and if you even knew where one was, it's Ponderosa. Let's see, Ponderosa, Piccadilly, Morrison's,
Bonanza,
Golden Corral, Bonanza, all those. We mentioned Woolworths, and I'll also mention Woolco because that
definitely Woolco. Yes.
Oh, Walden Books also. I was thinking B. Dalton's, Barnes and Noble, which still exists, Borders, and Walden Books. And very often, at least here in Miami, there was a B. Dalton, a Borders, and a Walden Books in the same mall. How about Sam Goody? You had Sam Goody's over there?
Yeah. But for some reason, I'm thinking of a car store. But I do want to mention this. Canadian Maker out there, Ron, says he misses Radio Shack. And we talked about Radio Shack already, but I want to just say this over. You go to radioshack.com and buy stuff still. But there's nothing like needing a resistor. I need a 100 ohm resistor, and going down and buying an overpriced package of 3 for $10 or whatever.
Yes. There is a 5.
That's what we miss.
There was a 5 to 1,500, and I know because I worked the Shack for years. 5 to 1,500% markup on all the force feed items. And I could tell you stories about all of that. But McCrory's, how about McCrory's?
Yeah, McCrory's. I remember the name. I don't. But that was kind of like a Woolworths type, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. We would go in there every now and then. A&P food stores. Did you ever
Oh,
have
yeah.
an A&P in your
Yes.
area?
Yes. A&P, Albertsons, which is recent.
Albertsons, yeah, yeah.
United Market. Um,
Ooh, here's one for you.
Dominic.
I don't know if you still have these here, but I'll leave off with this one because we're just about at the hour. What about an orange Julius?
Oh man, that was my favorite drink of all
Oh,
time. Is the Orange Julius?
it was my favorite pizza because the orange Julius stores had pizza at our, and it was that cardboard pizza that only a teenager could love. And boy, I loved it as a teenager.
To this day, vanilla and orange is my favorite flavor.
Oh,
Good
it's
Lord.
fantastic. Fantastic. Crazy Eddie's. He's insane. Yeah, Dan talked about Dandy Bear. Well, believe it or not, Dan, there's still a Dandy Bear around. There were 3 Dandy Bears. This is a local Chuck E. Cheese type restaurant. It's a long story, but I am the voice of Dandy Bear. Dandy Bear.
Ponderosa, Rustler, Bonanza.
Paul Harris Clothing. Oh, push-ups. Yeah. Mervin says push-ups. Yes, that is probably the closest you get to an Orange Julius is push-ups, and I love push-ups from the ice cream man, which will be another subject for another day, folks. The ice cream man.
I actually have some orange and vanilla ice cream in there.
Orange
so don't
cream.
make me get up and go get it.
Orange creamsicles. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. There's nothing like them. All right. With that, I mean, we've pretty much, well, we've gotten the bulk of them, and there's probably more out there. But folks, if you enjoyed the show, please come back next week. And next week, our topic, stand by. I'm pulling it up now to find out what our topic is.
What it is.
Let's see here. Our topic next week is, oddly enough, it's a great segue because we are going to be talking about the ice cream man.
Sweet.
We are talking about the ice cream man, folks. Yes.
Sweet.
I mean, everything about the ice cream man, bank caps, all your old favorites, the music. So join us next week where we're going to reminisce about the 70s and the 80s and the ice cream man and all its and everything that goes with it. So folks, thank you for joining us once again. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and have a